So hello everyone, my name is Ezeriki Emetonjor and I'm a current junior studying economics at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And over this past summer, I worked with my advisor, Dr. Candice Lanius from the Communication Arts Department, and we worked to establish a connection between public speaking anxiety and lower heart rate intervals. So the overview of this project involves the fact that public speaking anxiety is an experience that many people all over the world go through, especially students in college through their public speaking classes. And in order for us to better understand public speaking anxiety, we embarked on this research project in which we studied the connection between public speaking anxiety and lower heart rate intervals in order that we can actually identify the biggest contributors to public speaking anxiety. So the method of this project involved first actually collecting data of heart rate intervals from 120 students in their public speaking classes. And we used a wrist-based rhythm and heart monitor, which is here on the screen. And we used that to collect data of the heart rate intervals as well as drops in those heart rate intervals when the students became really nervous during their speeches that they were presenting. And then once all that data was collected, it was organized and compiled into a Google Sheet based on the heart rate interval drops. And then those drops were matched up with the recordings of those speeches according to timestamps to see what actually caused the heart rate interval drops. Once that data was completely organized and compiled, we performed some statistical analysis on it. We ran the data through SPSS using ANOVA test, and we did that to identify what the biggest trends were, so such as the trends that caused the most drops or the trends or factors that caused the most drastic effects, so the factors that caused the biggest drops, as well as we also looked into what type of speeches made students more nervous or caused more drastic effects. From our results, our NOVA results showed us that there was a difference in the average RR, which is also HRV rate among different factors. So that means that there were some factors that were more frequent in making students nervous throughout their speeches. And then it also showed that there was a difference in the drop rate among different factors. This means that there are some factors that cause more drastic effects. That is, they caused bigger drops in the data that we collected. The results also showed that students were most nervous during their introductory speeches and they were least nervous during their informative speeches. And then finally, it showed that students experienced the most stress or the most drastic effects during their persuasive speeches compared to all other speeches that they had to present. From these results, we can conclude that the biggest contributors to public speaking anxiety include delays before a speech starts, talking about emotional or personal topics, and then pronunciation issues. We also concluded that the factors that cause the most drastic effects or cause the largest drops include pronunciation issues, delay before speech starts, as well as checking notes or using presentation slides during the speech. And then students were most nervous during their introductory speeches, but they experienced the most stress or most drastic effects during their persuasive speeches. From these conclusions, we can actually recommend some actions that students can take towards combating public speaking anxiety. First, we would recommend that students avoid delays before starting their speech. So just try and start your speech as soon as possible, as much as you can. And then we also recommend practicing your speech ahead of time with your notes and slides so that you can get comfortable referencing them throughout your entire speech. Also, it's best to identify pronunciation issues with certain words that you may have throughout your speech and practice with them so that you can get more comfortable. And finally, avoid as much as you can talking about overly emotional or personal narratives so that you don't become too nervous in your speech when you have to talk about them. And hopefully, if these recommendations are applied, it can be a step towards combating public speaking anxiety. Thank you.